Liv Morgan has made a surprising WWE admission, something which, when I saw it, I knew I had to talk about it in this video. I'm going to tell you what she had to say, why it surprised me, and why I think it'll surprise you, because Liv Morgan, as we go into 2025, she has done big things. This year, she's done big things in her career. Obviously, her feuding with Becky Lynch, feuding with Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, those three feuds have been such an important factor, stepping stones for Liv Morgan. And for longtime Liv Morgan fans, they have been able to watch this woman and evolve, progress, transition into an undercard talent who maybe or maybe not get cut to a top tier main event, top star type of talent, becoming women's world champion. Now, I credit her rise not because of necessarily the booking. I actually think it was opportunity. It was fate, if you will, because earlier this year, she comes back in the Women's Royal Rumble match. She feuds with Becky Lynch, a notable feud, a feud she did not win. Think about that. She misses out on WrestleMania, not even on the card. Coming out of Mania, she was just going to get beat by Rhea Ripley, another title defense for her, only for Rhea to get injured. Fate stepped in because fate had Rhea Ripley get injured, suffering a shoulder injury, vacating the Women's World Championship. Fate called on Becky Lynch to opt to not re-sign with the company and go home and be part of her family full time. Fate stepped in and said that Liv Morgan should be given an opportunity to see if she can rise to the occasion as a main event talent. Fate was the ability for her to go over Becky Lynch at King and Queen of the Ring PLE. Fate made her a women's world champion, and fate has been able to lead her throughout 2024 as a top star, where she is doing multiple segments on Monday Night Raw, opening and closing the show. She has been able to change what Judgment Day is, right? She's changed the face of that. Now, she recently did an interview with Inside the Ropes, and that's where things get started, because she made an interesting admission about her WWE debut, because originally debuting for the promotion in NXT, Morgan was called up to the main roster and paired with the Riott Squad, Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan, and really, she only experienced being a wrestler as a single star at that point. However, Morgan admitted that she was not the most excited about being in that group at first, and this is what she had to say. Way more important for my development than I thought or knew at the time. I remember I was actually a little upset in a way, just because I didn't view myself as a tag team wrestler. I viewed myself as a singles competitor. Also, I was only a singles competitor up to that point, so I wasn't too excited at the thought of it. Even though I was excited at the thought of finally being on Raw and SmackDown. She then talked about how things didn't click for the group right away before it finally did. She said this: I just clicked with Ruby and Sarah so fast. When you look at the three of us, we couldn't look more different. But once we got to spend time together and peel back the layers, we realized we were way more similar than we would have ever guessed. So we created a true sisterhood, and I learned so much from Ruby and Sarah. She continued, they both had been in wrestling for years before me, and I definitely didn't think I knew it all by any means. I still don't think I know, really. But I had thought that I didn't need them, and I learned super fast how much I did and how valuable and important they would be to me in my career and my development, because I got to learn so much from them and I got to lean on them. I couldn't be more grateful and thankful for them, end quote. So that's interesting. Not because she didn't think it would work. It was the fact that she rejected the idea because she thought she was better off as a single star. Keep in mind, WWE did not do much with Liv Morgan in NXT. As I think I have over 80 videos of me talking about Liv Morgan here on the channel. Okay? That is a lot of content. That's a lot to talk about someone. I rarely talk about her NXT career. I rarely talk about it. I don't even think of it. I think of her Riott Squad days. I think of her winning the Money in the Bank contract. I think of her cashing in on Ronda Rousey. I think of her feud with Becky Lynch in early 2022. I think of, obviously, this year. I think of last year where they would not book her on a regular basis. They would just have her do jobs. And then she was injured and she was out the second half of the year. She missed like 6 months, right? Her return at the Royal Rumble and the Becky Lynch feud and the Rhea Ripley feud, and etc. I've talked about that at nauseum. But I don't talk about her Riott Squad days that often. And I certainly don't talk about her NXT days. NXT days is just like a blur to me. I can see her face. I can remember bits and pieces, but like she wasn't a champion. She wasn't even really booked prominently. I think she just was a name on the roster and they needed to fill a hole in that Riott Squad. So, like, okay. Like, I still have no idea why WWE has Sarah Logan around. I'm sure she's a very nice woman, but like, from an optic standpoint, I don't see it. I don't get it. But hey, I'm grateful to her, right? Like, I'm sure she's grateful for the gig, the weekly check. I don't get it, but she's there. Ruby Riott, obviously, she was a good utility player in NXT. She was a really good utility player on the main roster, and she's done decently in AEW. I think she fits better in WWE, but she's just a name on the roster. She's never going to be like a top tier star. But I could be wrong because a lot of people thought that Liv Morgan wasn't going to be a top tier star. She turned everything around. There was a lot of fate in that. There was a lot of opportunity for her, but she had to go and eat through a lot of crap. I think if you look at how far she has come, where she has gone, what she has achieved, what she's been able to do for Raquel Rodriguez and Dominic Mysterio, I think the pairing between her and Dominic has been very, very well done. I think it has given credence and it's given credibility to Liv's heel turn, right? Because for the longest time throughout her WWE career, for the most part, really, she was a baby face, right? She's a likable person. And so WWE utilized that. And I thought they've done a very good job with that. But at the same time, you also do need to give a different side to her, especially if you're going to revamp her character, in which they've clearly done. So if you look at it like that, then it's like, oh, okay, I like what they've done. They've done a good job with it. And now we're moving forward with Liv Morgan as a heel. And it's long past her babyface run, right? I think people will look back on 2024 as her breakout year, as the year that she really set the tone, that she put her mark on this company, and that she's stood out among the rest. And she has been able to be a driving force for the women's division on Monday Night Raw, a driving force for this company. And as long as she can sustain that momentum, and obviously she's going to take a downturn once she loses the women's world title, but that's inevitable. It'll be up to her, and it'll be up to WWE Creative to make sure that she is continuously booked in a strong manner. Now, I have all the faith in the world that WWE and Triple H are going to do a fine job with her. It's just going to be very interesting to see how they go about things.